Early in the morning, in the thick fog covering the Kinkenwald forest, the mother tiger led her cubs leisurely walking on the quiet dirt road. The mother tiger was always alert, constantly observing the surroundings to ensure the safety of her children. The tiny cub walked curiously watching the scenery, occasionally rubbing its head against its mother's leg to show affection. Everything was peaceful until the sound of a car engine in the distance broke the silence. The mother tiger stopped, raised her head, sensing the approaching danger. An old yellow car, looking old and dusty, rushed at too high a speed on the narrow forest road. The driver seemed not to notice or could not control the speed. The car crashed straight into the mother tiger. The loud collision caused the birds to scatter in the tree branches. The mother tiger fell onto the road, her large body motionless, blood from the wound spreading on the ground. The tiger cub was shocked, its eyes filled with tears as it looked at its mother. Then it tried to wake her up, making a weak and pitiful cry. The driver was now scared, his face pale, looking at the scene through the car window and trembling. Not daring to go closer, he frantically got into the car, stepped on the gas, and fled the scene without looking back. Only the tiger cub remained, pressed against its mother's body, hot tears rolling down her soft fur. The cold wind whistling through the treetops further increased the little tiger cub's desperate loneliness. The faint calls for its mother echoed in the forest, heartbreaking to hear. In the distance, a black car moved slowly on the winding road of Kinkenwald. The driver was Yuri Antono, a simple, middle-aged man who had lived near this forest for a long time. Yuri often liked to drive around the forest in the early morning to enjoy the fresh air. The sunlight shining through the trees created shimmering streaks of light on his windshield. As the car approached a bend, Yuri suddenly saw something lying across the road ahead. Sensing something unusual, Yuri immediately stepped on the brakes, stopped the car, and got out to observe. The scene before his eyes stunned him. A large tiger lying motionless in a pool of blood, next to a tiger cub trembling with fear. The tiger cub saw Yuri, its eyes filled with despair and pleading for help, but it was still very afraid of strangers. Yuri stood still for a moment, trying to calm himself down before the heartbreaking scene. He approached, bent down to check, and realized that the mother tiger had stopped breathing, her body gradually becoming cold. The tiger cub continued to groan, tears soaking its soft fur. Yuri sighed, took out his phone to call the police, but there was no signal in the middle of the deep forest. He looked around anxiously, hesitating about what to do next. Just as he was about to turn back to the car to find a way to report the news, he heard rustling sounds behind him. Yuri turned around and saw the tiger cub struggling to crawl closer to him, its eyes full of pleading pain. Unable to contain his emotions, Yuri let the little tiger rub its head against his leg as if begging for protection. He gently sat down, gently placed his hand on the tiger cub's head, feeling its body trembling with cold and fear. "Your mother is gone," he whispered, his heart aching. The tiger cub still did not leave his side, just hugging his leg as if searching for a bit of warmth and safety. After a few minutes, Yuri decided to help this unfortunate little tiger. He gently lifted the tiger cub into the car and placed it next to the driver's seat. The tiger cub lay still obediently, its eyes still fixed on his mother's body, as if it didn't want to leave. Yuri looked through the rearview mirror and saw the sunlight shining through the trees on the trail, and a feeling of sadness welled up in her heart. When she got home, Yuri gently carried the tiger cub into the living room and placed it next to the fireplace for warmth. Elena, his wife, couldn't believe her eyes when she saw her husband holding a small tiger. "What are you doing? Where did this tiger come from?" Elena asked in surprise. Yuri recounted the details of the accident, the pleading eyes of the tiger cub, and the pain of losing his mother. Hearing the story, Elena was moved, went to the tiger cub, and gently stroked its fur. She agreed to temporarily keep the tiger, waiting for the rangers to come and handle the situation. Yuri immediately called the local police and rangers, describing the situation clearly. During the waiting time, the couple took good care of the tiger cub. Elena found an old milk bottle, mixed warm milk, and fed it to the tiger cub in small sips. The little tiger sucked the milk deliciously, as if it had not eaten anything for a long time. The tiger cub gradually became friendlier and was no longer too afraid of strangers. The children in the neighborhood heard that Yuri's family had a tiger cub and came to see. At first, they were a bit scared, but when they saw that the tiger just lay still obediently, they gradually became bolder. A boy suggested naming the tiger cub Mishka, a cute and friendly name. From then on, Mishka gradually became a close friend of the children and was loved by everyone in the area. Elena personally sewed Mishka a small wool blanket to keep him warm at night. During the day, Yuri took Mishka out to the garden to sunbathe and play with the children in the neighborhood. Mishka quickly integrated, running around the yard and playing with the little dogs. Sometimes it playfully bit Yuri's slippers and ran around the house, making the whole family laugh. At night, Mishka curled up and slept by the fireplace, quietly resting his head on Yuri's feet, like a little child in need of protection. Yuri grew more and more attached to Mishka, feeling that life was becoming warmer and full of joy. However, he was always worried that one day he would have to part with this cute little tiger. Every time the phone rang, the whole family was nervous because they were afraid that it was a call to return Mishka to the forest. Finally, after nearly a week, the rangers contacted and made an appointment to come to Yuri's house to talk directly. The next morning, 2 rangers in neat uniforms knocked on Yuri's door. They introduced themselves as Kinkenwald forest management staff, sincerely thanking the family for saving and protecting Mishka. When they saw strangers, Mishka was timid, hiding behind Yuri's feet, his eyes full of worry. A ranger sat down, smiled, and patted Mishka, who cautiously approached, rubbing his head against his hand as if recognizing the friendliness. Elena invited the ranger to have tea, asking about Mishka's future. They explained that Mishka would be taken to a wildlife rescue center, where he would receive medical care, acclimatization training, and prepare to return to the wild when he was old enough. Although sad, Yuri and Elena understood that it was best for Mishka, so that he could have a truly free life as a tiger. In the golden sunset, Yuri's family said goodbye to Mishka. Yuri hugged the little tiger tightly for the last time, whispering, "Live freely and be strong, my child." Mishka licked his hand gently, then looked back one last time before following the ranger into the forest, starting a new life, but never forgetting the home and warm feelings of the people who saved him.